Hey folks, it's Tom, your frugal prepper. I apologize for the raspy voice. I am getting over a bad cold, and my voice has not come completely back yet, although I'm feeling quite a bit better. I wanted to do a little bit of a canning video because I wanted to show you that you can make quick meals in a jar. And this is kind of what I consider part of prepping too. And this is sweet and sour chicken. It's got some peppers and onions and stuff in there. And basically you get some rice, and I use brown rice, so I'll pre-boil it and then freeze it so I can heat it up fast. Pour this out, heat it up. You've got a meal for the family in a few minutes. This is some chicken lentil soup that I made some of. It's just a quick and easy lunch. And it's very good and very cheap. Now, the reason that these are important to me is, unexpected things happen in life, just everyday life. And for me, that's been that my father-in-law died a couple weeks ago. And my mother-in-law is very sick with a terminal illness. And my wife has pretty much spent a lot of time over there helping to take care of her. So sometimes I don't even get to see my wife at all during the day. And a lot of times I just see her for an hour or two. And I've been taking care of 4 dogs, 2 kids, 2 cats, the house, and trying to work 8 hours a day. And then I got sick and got what was practically pneumonia. I had to go to the doctor a couple times. So having stuff like this on the shelf that you can make in a few minutes, or that my 17-year-old can make for the family real quick, this is invaluable. And so when I'm run down and busy and stressed out, this stuff like this is what allows my wife to be able to go and do what she needs to do. And we're still able to eat without having to, buy McDonald's and fast food and stuff every day, which we can't really afford. And they're just handy. Today I'm going to be making, I call this my Italian lentil soup. And I just make this, I make these up in pint jars. You can take them with you to work and have a quick lunch. Just pop your metal lid off, heat it up in the microwave, and you're good to go. So I'm just going to start. I've got a couple tomatoes here from the garden. I'm going to do a yellow one and a red one. We're just going to dice those up. And let me sharpen my knife here a little bit. Down. Always good to sharpen the knife before you slice tomatoes. So I'm just going to pretty much just dice these up real quick. So now that's chopped up, and the rest of this really goes quick. What we're going to do is take our jars. I like to work on a towel. Like so. And that towel's clean, it's just stained with some pickle juice. Okay, and now we take our lentils. Lentils expand like crazy in the pressure canner. It doesn't take much. On a pint jar, you're going to use 1/4 cup. You would double this recipe if you were doing quart jars. This is an 1/8 cup scoop. And I want them to be level cups. You want this to be exact. So I'll do 2 1/8 cups. And we're just going to do that in each jar. So now what we can do is we'll put some other stuff in the jars. I'm going to put just a little bit of tomato paste in each jar to give it that tomatoey flavor. And what I'll do is just like a teaspoonful of tomato paste in each jar. Should be plenty. Clean off my spoon. Okay. Now we're ready to add some spices. So I'm going to put a teaspoon. I don't even have enough to do a teaspoon. I'm just going to divide up what I have left of this chopped onion in my jars. Need to go buy some more of this. And what I'll do is add just a little bit of onion powder to help kind of compensate for the not having a full teaspoon for each jar. And what I'll do is I'll just do like I will say a quarter teaspoon of onion powder in each one. Okay, and then I like garlic, so I'm going to go with a half teaspoon of garlic in each jar. This is granulated garlic. I suppose you could use garlic powder, but the granulated seems to hold up just a little better in the pressure canner. It's just a little bit coarser of a grind. Okay, that's quick and easy. And now we're just going to do some basil. I'm going to do again about a half a teaspoon in each one. And the same for the oregano. We'll do about a half a teaspoon in each jar. I really love the spices. You know, use what you think. Be careful of thyme and rosemary, however, they can turn bitter in the pressure canning process there. Good enough. Alright. So now we've got our spices. Easy enough, right? Now we'll take our tomatoes and we'll just kind of mix those up. And for these, I'll use the canning funnel. I'm just going to put like a little clump in each one. We're going to try to divide them evenly as possible here. Now, I'll leave my funnel back. All we're going to do is I'm going to top this off with beef broth. This is beef broth from the Dollar Tree. We'll just fill these jars up. You can get this at Dollar Tree for $1. It's good stuff. They also make beef stock, which you can use as well. Oh, I forgot one other thing here real quick. Which is going to be my canning salt. Now you want to use canning salt. Okay, you get it at that grocery store. This doesn't have like some additives and stuff. It's pure, so it doesn't make your jars cloudy. The other like regular table salt will. Now that it won't make it bad, you can still eat it. The problem is you know, when you're looking at a cloudy jar, you have to stop and ask yourself, is that cloudy because it's got something growing in it and food poisoning or not? So if you use this salt, it'll keep your jars clear. And now we just top these bad boys off. And what I do is I leave about 1 inch of headspace, which is just underneath of this ring. Okay, I just realized I messed up. You know, you get on camera and you get to talking and you forget something. What I'm going to have to do is pour some of the broth out of these. Actually, look. Okay. What I forgot was that I have some Italian sausages that I need to use up. That was the point of making my Italian lentil soup, is it has Italian sausage in it. I mean, I guess you wouldn't have to put this in there, but we're just going to chop up some of these. I hope you can see this on camera. And now we are ready to go ahead and finish topping off the beef broth. And I'll use this broth that I took out of the others. Now, what we want to make sure is that there's no bubbles in this jar, because bubbles can insulate the food, and then you end up with a cooler spot that doesn't get to the full temperature. So just by kind of stirring this up around down in here, we can make sure. And I do see bubbles come to the surface when I do this, and a lot of times you have to recheck your liquid levels after you're done. I'll check my head space, because I want 1 inch of head space, and 1 inch would be, if this is on the edge of the jar, this should be touching. So with that vertical, that's perfect. So now I need to wipe the edges of my jars and make sure they're clean. Now if you're doing something sticky, you probably want to wet your paper towel a little bit. This really isn't sticky, so you don't have to worry about it. Just make sure that you get the rim good and clean, because that's where the seal is going to happen. And then I also wipe off my threads. Now what we're going to do is put our flats on. Some people call these lids. I call them flats because that's what my family always called them growing up. And these are all washed ahead of time, but I'm not heating these up. And the latest recommendations from Ball is on their lids that say BPA free, that you do not reheat them even when water bathing. However, these are Golden Harvest lids, and they're different than the Ball lids, and they don't say BPA free. So if I was water bathing, I would probably still simmer these. And now I just got to get some rings out. I just rings here. We're gonna put our rings on. I just like to kind of set them all on there first. Okay, and now we're just basically going to tighten them. A lot of people, I think, don't tighten their jars enough. I do it till it just starts to slip through my fingertips. I put my fingertips on. Okay, folks, so at some point my camera died. I don't know when. We'll have to see. Anyway, I got these all filled up with sausage and broth, the Italian sausage. I got the flats on. I got the rings on and tightened. I wiped my rims first. So we're going to go ahead and set these in the pressure canner now. And since they're cold, I don't need to use the jar lifter. I will just put them in over here. So we just bring this in, and we set them in like so. Okay, so there we go. We're all loaded up. I'll go ahead and fire up the flame. I always start with my pressure canner cold. I know some people heat them up first. I've had too many problems when you put the jar, since this isn't a hot jar, into some hot water. It'll crack on the bottom. So I just start with them cold. Then what we're going to do is put our lid on our pressure canner, like so. So it just goes like this. Hang on, I gotta push down. Maybe. So our lid is on the pressure canner now. It's heating up, and what I'll do is we'll let this boil, and then when the steam starts really shooting out of this vent, like once it starts shooting out, then we'll wait 10 minutes, and that makes sure there's no air left in the canner, that it's all steam, so it all comes to the right temperature, and then we'll put our weight on. And these have meat in them, and they're pints. So for my elevation, I'll put the 10-pound weight on, and I'll process them for 75 minutes. Okay, so now our canner has been venting for 10 minutes. You can see it's shooting a nice stream of steam out. I'm going to take this weight, which is a 10-pound, set at 10 pounds, and put it on there, and then the pressure is going to come up to about 11 pounds. And it'll start jiggling. Then I can cut the heat back, and then we'll process it for an hour and 15 minutes after the weight starts jiggling. Okay, so now our pressure has come up to just about 10 pounds. Our weight's jiggling. So I'm going to take, and I turn this back to about just a little past 2, and it'll be ready to process. I'll go ahead and set my oven timer for an hour and 15 minutes. Okay, and then we're processing. And okay, the processing time is up, and I let the canner cool down and opened it up. And here is the lentil Italian lentil soup. I'll take it, and we'll set them out here and let them cool. You can see they're still boiling, but it looks good and it smells delicious. And you can see how the lentils have filled up that whole jar. So it just takes a little bit of lentils when you're canning. Alright, that's it for now, folks. I will talk to you later. Comment below and let me know if you'd like to see more canning videos. I've always said I won't turn this into a canning channel because there's a lot of that on YouTube, but if you're interested in some more of the recipes and ways that I can to make my life easier, and you'd like to see some of these now and then, let me know, and I can set up and do some canning videos every once in a while. Alright, talk to you later.